All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. And we just finished talking about the Pythagorean theorem. And just to kind of quickly review, in the Pythagorean theorem, I need to know at least two sides of a triangle before I could find the third side. But the nice thing about the two special triangles that we have, the 45, 45, 90 and the 30, 60, 90, is that I only need to know one side and then I know all the sides. I'm going to draw this again, sorry. So a 45, 45, 90 triangle is actually what they call an isosceles right triangle because this side and this side, the two legs, have the same measurement. So whatever this measurement is, let's call this one X. We're also going to call this one X because we know they have to be the same. And this would be X times the square root of 2. Now, this pattern always holds as long as this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. If you don't know for sure that it's a 45, 45, 90 triangle, you cannot assume that the hypotenuse is X times the square root of 2. Now, if you were given a triangle that looked like this and you said that this was 5 and this was 5, well, you know that it has to be a 45, 45, 90 triangle because these two sides are exactly the same. But if you were just given this, then you have no idea what the angles are. So be careful of that. Watch out for that. So once you've decided that it is, in fact, a 45, 45, 90 triangle, you can use this pattern to figure out what the sides of the triangle are. So let's just take a look at this. Let's say we have a triangle. You're told that it's 45, 45, 90, and you were told this side is 4. And they wanted you to find side X and side Y. Well, if you remember the pattern is if this side is X, this side is also X, and this side is X times the square root of 2. So if this side is 4, this side also has to be 4, which means my X value is 4. So that means I just have to put a 4 here, and I know my hypotenuse is 4 times the square root of 2. Let's do another one. If you are told that you have a 45, 45, 90 triangle, and you know that this side is 12, and you want to find the other two sides, well, remember, the two legs have to be exactly the same. So if this one's 12, this is 12, which means my X value is 12. So this will just be 12 times the square root of 2. Let's say I knew that this side was 20. I know this side has to be 20, and this side has to be 20 times the square root of 2. So that's pretty easy when you're given one leg, and the other leg is exactly the same, and the hypotenuse will be the leg times the square root of 2. But let's go the other way. All right, well now, let's say I'm given that this is 5 times the square root of 2, and I want to find the other two sides. Well, if you remember, if this is X, this would be X, and this would be X times the square root of 2. Well, you can really just take a look at this and compare these, and you can say, well, they both have the square root of 2. So if I divided out the square root of 2, I know that X has to be 5. So I know that this side has to be 5, and this side has to be 5. And what you're really doing is you're just taking 5 times the square root of 2 and dividing out that square root of 2 to give you the 5. Let's try another one. Let's say I knew that this was, again, you're being told it's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Let's say this one is 12 times the square root of 2, and you want to know the other two sides. Again, you know that this is X times the square root of 2. So if you divide by the square root of 2, you know X has to be 12. So this would be 12, and this would be 12. So when this has a square root of 2 on it, it's pretty straightforward. But what if it didn't? What if I said, all right, this is 20. What are the sides? Well, all you have to do is take that 20 and divide it by the square root of 2. Go to your calculator and say, well, what is 20 divided by, remember the square root button on your calculator, and hit equals, and you'll get 14.1 if I round it. So now I know that this is 14.1 and this is 14.1. And that's pretty much it for a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So if you have questions, let me know.